Number 1. The Reformation was a rebirth of the church. Some portrayals of the Reformation make it seem like the church was playing a dramatic game of hide and seek, dying one minute and coming back to life the next. But the Reformers weren't having any of that melodrama. They believed God always kept his church alive, even during the darkest times. They saw their work as a reformation, not a resurrection. Kind of like giving the church a stylish makeover instead of a full-on revival. Martin Luther was adamant that the true church had never really died. He even defended the Church of Rome, saying it's still the church. Despite its flaws and questionable ministries, John Calvin backed him up, arguing that as long as Christ was reigning, the church would always be alive and kicking. Later, theologians like Francis Turretin insisted that even during the papacy, God preserved a remnant of faithful believers. This belief set the magisterial Reformation apart from the more radical Anabaptists, who were ready to toss everything out and start fresh. So, in the grand saga of church history, the Reformers were all about keeping the faith alive, no matter how grim things looked. Number 2. Protestants are all the same. So let's clear up the myth that all Protestants are the same. That's like saying all ice cream flavors are vanilla, totally missing the point. The term Protestant is like a buffet of denominations, each serving up its own unique beliefs and practices. Take Baptists, for instance. They're all about dunking believers in water, keeping things local. Presbyterians, on the other hand, are more into their structured governance and think infant baptism is the way to go. Then you've got the Lutherans, who are big fans of Martin Luther and his justification by faith alone mantra. Basically, they're the original fans of faith over works. Methodists are like friendly neighborhood activists, following John Wesley's lead on personal holiness and social justice. And Anglicans, they're the ones mixing Protestant and Catholic vibes with a fancy liturgical flair. Each denomination has its own style of worship, theology, and how they run the show. Plus, they don't all see eye to eye on key doctrines like the Eucharist, salvation, or how to interpret scripture. These differences can even shape how they tackle social and ethical issues. So, lumping all Protestants together is like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. It just doesn't work. To really appreciate Protestant Christianity, you've got to embrace the delightful chaos of its diversity. Number 3. Protestantism was a rejection of the past. Sure, the Protestant Reformation aimed to tackle some issues with the Catholic Church, but it wasn't like they were staging a dramatic breakup and burning all the old love letters. Reformers like Martin Luther and John Calvin still held onto some pretty core Christian beliefs. Think Trinity, divinity of Christ, and the good old authority of Scripture. They weren't trying to throw the baby out with the bathwater. They just wanted to fix what they thought was a bit wonky in the church's practices and doctrines. For example, while they took a hard pass on the sale of indulgences, no, you can't buy your way out of sin, folks. They still valued the sacraments, just with a fresh perspective. Protestant worship didn't pop out of nowhere. It evolved from existing Christian liturgies, keeping some traditional elements while giving others a little makeover. The whole sola scriptura thing was about getting back to basics of Christianity, not throwing historical teachings under the bus. Many Protestant denominations still include historical theological insights and creeds, proving they're not completely disowning their roots. So, instead of a total rejection, the Reformation was more like a heartfelt call to return to what the Reformers believed were the true gems of the Christian faith. In short, Protestantism is like the cool cousin who respects the family history while still wanting to shake things up a bit. Number 4. The Reformation split an already unified church. So here's the scoop. People love to blame the Reformation for splitting the church, but that's a bit of a stretch. Sure, Protestantism has given us a smorgasbord of denominations, but let's not pretend that unity was the name of the game before all this. In fact, many modern Protestants seem to have a my way or the highway attitude when it comes to other Christian traditions, which doesn't help the whole unity thing. But here's the kicker. The church was already a bit of a family feud before the Reformers even showed up. The tensions between the eastern and western branches of the church had been simmering for ages, finally boiling over into an official split way back in 1054. Like a dramatic reality show split long before the Reformation was even a twinkle in history's eye. Plus, the late medieval Roman Catholic Church was no monolith. It was like a crowded family reunion with plenty of squabbles and disagreements. So while we all should be wishing for a little more unity and acknowledging our roles in the divisions, let's not put all the blame on the Protestants. It's a team effort when it comes to church drama. Number 5, Protestants believe they are the only true Christians. Hold up, folks. Let's not generalize here. While some Protestant groups may have a bit of a us against the world mentality, many others are all about the ecumenical dialogue and cooperation. Take the United Methodists and Evangelical Lutherans, for example. They're out there engaging in interdenominational discussions like it's going out of style. You'll find Protestants teaming up with Catholics and Orthodox Christians for joint worship services and community projects all the time. And the Second Vatican Council and all the ecumenical efforts since then. There's been a real spirit of mutual respect and collaboration between Protestants and Catholics. Even Protestant leaders are getting in on the interfaith action, participating in dialogues and initiatives. So let's not act like all Protestants are walking around with a "we're the only true Christians" complex. There's a whole lot of diversity when it comes to how Protestants view their relationships with other Christian communities. Understanding that diversity is key to getting a clear picture of the Protestant stance on unity and cooperation. It's like a big, messy family reunion. We may not always see eye to eye, but at the end of the day, we're still family. Number 6, Protestants have no formal structure. Protestantism is like a buffet of organizational styles. Some are laid back and casual, while others are as structured as a military parade. Take Baptist churches, for example. They operate with a congressional polity, which means each church is like its own little kingdom, ruling itself independently. It's like a group of friends who decide to form their own book club, but instead of reading the same book, they're all doing their own thing. On the flip side, you got denominations like the Anglican Communion, which is more like a well-organized family reunion, complete with bishops and archbishops overseeing everything. You can picture them with clipboards, making sure everyone's behaving and that the potluck runs smoothly. Then there are the Lutherans, practically the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America, ELCA, who have a governance structure who's all about elected synods and councils. It's like a church version of a reality show where everyone votes on the best ideas. Who will be the next synod star? Methodists, meanwhile, have their own connectional system, where appointed ministers and annual conferences keep everything running like a well-oiled machine. Think of it as a church version of a corporate office, complete with meetings and coffee breaks. While some Protestant churches may be a bit more laid back and informal, others have hierarchies that could rival a royal court. This diversity in governance shows just how complex and organized the Protestant tradition really is. So next time someone says Protestants are all about chaos and anarchy, just smile and remind them that there's a whole lot going on behind the scenes, like a church version of The Office, but with more hymns and fewer pranks. If you found this discussion on Protestantism insightful, you're going to love our next video. We're diving into the common misconceptions about Catholicism, unpacking myths, and providing clarity on what the Catholic Church truly believes and practices. From misunderstandings about Catholic traditions to clarifying what the Church teaches on key values. This video will offer a balanced and informative perspective. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on this essential exploration of Catholicism. Join us as we continue to unravel the complexities of Christian traditions and foster a deeper understanding of our shared faith. See you there.